Greetings, GameCola faithful, and welcome to the GameCola Podcast. This is podcast number 41. With me today are Paul Franzen and Nicholas Suprak. Everyone, introduce yourselves.
Hello everyone, I'm Paul Franzen. I'm the editor-in-chief of GameCola, and I'm also the writer and designer of the upcoming Xbox Live mega hit, Life in the Dorms. Figured I'd just slide a plug in there while I'm at it.
And I'm Nicholas Suprak, and I contribute occasionally.
Sometimes.
Once in a while.
I think that's what most GameCola staff are. I sometimes contribute something, you know.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard that bio a lot on the show. Hi, I'm Matt Gardner, and I haven't written anything in 2 years.
Yes. Where's,
That's not true, actually. He just did submit a couple articles.
We should get Terrence Atkins on here.
That would be wonderful.
That'd be awesome.
She is, however, a cat.
That's cool.
Can she talk?
It's unclear.
She can draw.
She's a great artist. She's a phenomenal talent. You can see her work on GameCola. She does the art for Be Careful What You Search For.
Oh, okay. That's the girl's name?
That's the one where we pick out some of the weirdest search phrases that people have come across to find GameCola, and then she artistically renders them in order to give back to the community, to give the fans what they really want. Do we have any letters from our listeners, Jetty?
Oh, do we have any viewer mail or listener mail?
Listener mail.
Yes.
Or reader mail. Well,
I read the podcast. Do you read the podcast?
The written version's the best one.
Yes.
Kidding?
Well, actually, doesn't YouTube provide
That's right.
automatic...
I've never tried to do that with the podcast, but yeah, because we upload every episode of the podcast onto our YouTube page, gc.net, and there could be a way to turn on transcriptions generated by YouTube or Google or whoever does that.
I've seen.
And see what happens.
I've seen how bad they can be.
I believe we've even published a few articles about it.
Maybe.
So listener mail, what kind of topics do our listeners have for us this month?
Surprisingly, not as much listener mail as we've had in recent times. But we do have, let me see, I have 3 emails and a number of comments. Hey GameCola, you guys sound pretty desperate for fans to email you, smiley face, so I thought I'd ask you guys a few questions. 1. Can one of you do a video walkthrough for The Sims 3? Have any of you played The Sims 3? I think it would be an interesting thing to talk about on the podcast. That apparently was a question. Number 2. What do you think the chances are of there being a Gyakuten Saiban, Ace Attorney, 5? You guys seem to think that the series kinda died, but people on Capcom's forums think that there probably will be another game. If they make this game, who do you think the protagonist will be?
Sure talk about Phoenix Wright a lot on this podcast.
Not enough, I think.
Not enough. All right, so the first one, can anyone do a Sims 3 walkthrough? Video walkthrough, is that what I heard?
Yes.
I'm going to say no. I'm going to answer for everyone and say no.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, thanks for that, but...
I'm not sure how, I haven't played Sims 3, but wouldn't that be well, this day you eat, and then you use the bathroom, and then you go to work?
Yeah,
and
I mean,
next day you eat.
How about I just set up cameras all throughout my apartment and say that's what I'm doing?
Yes!
GameCola reality show.
These graphics are awesome.
Watch me edit reports for 8 hours.
So, number 2?
So...
or did we want to talk about...
Oh, I mean... Should we discuss why? Yeah, like you said, I just don't know if it would be entertaining enough.
I don't. Yeah. I think you need to, if it's anything like Sims 2, sort of a loop where you could just record the first day and then play that 10 times in a row and no one would notice.
Well, I mean, maybe the Sims 3 has an extensive story mode that we don't know about.
Possible,
but probably not.
Yeah. So sorry.
Number 2. What do you guys think the chances are of there being an Ace Attorney 5?
Well.
An Ace Attorney 5, but just not released in America?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think there's a great chance of an Ace Attorney 5 eventually coming out. But given Capcom's opinions right now, or given the recent history, I think the odds of it being released here aren't that great at the moment. They're already not releasing Miles Edgeworth 2 and Phoenix Wright versus Professor Layton, so I wouldn't really cross my fingers for Ace Attorney 5, especially now since the Phoenix Wright character has been completely ruined. I mean, anyway.
Do they have a good reason for not bringing these next couple of games to America, other than they hate us?
I don't remember them giving a reason. I assume it's just because the localization is too much work and not enough profits for it. Because granted, there is a lot of work. I assume it's an enormous amount of work to have to translate a game that is primarily text-driven like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the same thing as trying to localize like a Mario game.
Well, Yahoo could be entirely different in Japanese. We don't know.
There's a point. Speaking of Ace Attorney, how likely do you think it is that Capcom will localize Gyakuten Kenji 2 and Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright?
Hey, we already did that one.
We answered this one. We are going through these really fast.
It is true.
Well, I'll make a counter argument here and say extremely likely, even though they already said they won't, but positive they will.
It would certainly be nice if they did, but...
They go on to say a lot of people are writing petitions. A petition for Gyakuten Kenji 2 to be localized is one of the top 10 petitions on onlinepetitions.com. Now, I remember...
What's the petition or petition?
I remember petitions being around for the last 10 or 15 years on the internet.
Yeah, I started a petition when I was in high school to get a professional wrestling superstar Funaki a world title match, and that just went nowhere.
Yeah, well, I just wonder if they've ever done anything. Like, has anyone ever gotten anything done because a petition was posted on the internet?
I think recently I think people, over the last couple months, have been making a huge deal about this petition to get. It was this Wii game localized. I'm going to say it was called The Last Story, but I really have no idea. And I remember there being thousands and thousands of people signing this and, emailing and snail mailing stuff to Nintendo saying, please, for the love of God, bring this game to the U.S. I don't think anything came from that, and I don't think people are putting nearly that much work into the Phoenix Wright petition. I know I don't want this to be the downer cast, but it might be a good idea to play other games in the meantime.
I will never play another video game. Yes. Okay. I'm too lazy to look this up. How much will I save on a 3DS if I trade in my DS Lite at GameStop? Do regular DS games work on a 3DS?
DS Lite? I don't know. 50 cents? $1?
Yeah, this is GameStop we're talking about.
If you were trading in the DSi, you might get a reasonable amount.
Like $2.
The DS Lite
maybe $5.
Is a few models old now. I'm still using my big clunky DS, and I can't imagine that I would get enough to buy a gumball if I traded that in.
Does that still fit in the pockets? I can't remember that one.
What?
The enormous DS, the DS. Can you
Yeah,
fit that in
not the XL. It's probably the same size as the XL because it's rather large.
The DS Ugly, the original one.
Yeah, the brick one. It was just like a brick with a touch screen.
I'm still using my big clunky Game Boy, the original one.
But anyway, serious answer. You should ask GameStop. Really, email their podcast. We have no clue.
We will not price check.
Do any of it? None of us work at GameStop, right? Or a video game store? Any? Yeah, I have no idea.
Do we know if regular DS games work on the 3DS?
They do. They do. In fact, I own a 3DS. Believe it or not.
What?
Yeah. And the only game I've played on it so far is a DS game. I actually have no 3DS games whatsoever.
What?
Which puts me in the same pool as everyone else who owns a 3DS, probably. But yes, it is absolutely backward compatible with the DS. I'm pretty sure it doesn't go as far back as Game Boy Advance, but DS, you're set. It even has access to the whole DSi downloadable store if there's anything there you would want to buy. I still have my sights on a game called Surviving High School, personally.
What about original Game Boy? Does it support those games?
No, but it does play Game Gear games, which is weird.
That is very strange.
Huh.
That's not true.
Oh,
Does it say games besides Game Boy? I don't think so.
I think there are some downloadable original Game Boy games on it already that you can buy for $5 probably. And they're also, I believe, going to have Game Boy Advance games and maybe Game Gear games, or I might be confusing news posts with wishful posts. Definitely Game Boy Original, though. You can get Super Mario Land on it right now.
Wow.
And yes, I'm trying to work the word Mario into this podcast as many times as I possibly can.
That's harsh.
After, I believe it was episode 40, where someone sent in a letter and asked me never to pronounce it ever again.
Or Chrono.
That might
be Chrono.
Yes.
It's Chrono Mario Trigger. I hope Chrono is added to the new Oh wait, Mario's not in that.
Is Mario?
Oh, I'm so podcast rusty. Oh,
yes.
Give me your next topic. This is too depressing.
Okay, number 5. You guys are always complaining about GameCola not being popular. Why don't you buy a sponsor spot on WeirdThings.com? A lot of people listen to that podcast. You pay $30 and Justin Robert Young advertises your site on the podcast. Here's the link.
Oh.
I don't know.
Maybe we could do that.
How much do we have in the GameCola ad account?
I think at least a nickel.
Well, there are 2 answers to that.
Uh-oh.
Is it less than a nickel?
In the money I have access to right now, there is $0. 0. However, we have been running advertisements on the site, as anyone can see, and unfortunately they don't let you cash out until you reach a certain amount, and we haven't quite hit that yet.
Yikes! It's like $2.
But we're getting close. Oh. We're getting close.
Yeah.
We are already at, and this is after running ads since last April, I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
We already have earned in that time $1.77.
Yes. We can almost afford advertisement.
We're getting there. So you can cash out on this website after $10. So it should only be another 4 or 5 years or so.
Yes.
But yeah, that's kind of a cool idea, actually. What was the site?
Weirdthings.com.
Weird Things.
Yes.
I'm gonna add it to my to-do list to look into that. So thank you. I don't think we've got their name yet.
Yeah, we haven't. So 6. Why does Michael call himself Arglefump?
I think he answered this once on his blog.
Did he?
Yes.
Too bad he's not here. Anyway, that was actually the end of their email, their questions. And then it says, well, I can't wait for your next podcast. I'm glad to see that Michael is back. Paul's beard is awesome. Neko wa midori desu. A fan of the podcast.
Hey, thank you very much.
Yes.
What was that he said?
Neko wa midori desu. So, the cat is green, apparently.
Hey.
Oh.
How about that?
Yeah.
Well, it was very nice of you. Thank you very much.
Yes, green cats. Anyway.
I'm sorry we didn't have anything uplifting to say about Phoenix Wright.
Sadly.
Or Sims 3.
Yeah.